Hello, 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 hello. Hello, everyone. Let me just get some stuff out of the way. So I'm waiting to see. Okay, see you, AS. See you, Danny. See you, BB. Okay, see you guys coming in. Click the thumbs up for me, guys. Click the thumbs up for me, guys. Okay, I see BB, I see JG. Okay, so as they are coming in, that's fine. I'll monitor the chat on here. So what we want to discuss today, as you can see, the topic is dealing with anxiety and mental health caused by COVID. Yes, so a lot of us, the lockdown is coming tomorrow. Officially, there will be a lockdown. So the UK is going into lockdown. London will be in tier 2. I need to check the current news this morning as well. Hello, Nicola. Thank you for coming. So we will be locked down as of tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be in tier 2, and meaning that we can't go to pubs, we can't go to parties, we can't visit our friends' house, we can't visit family houses. You can't visit families and friends if they're not in your bubble. You can't actually just have any sort of event with a lot of people. You cannot, you simply can't. So I know some of us, especially on here, we want to go see our friends, we want to go see our relatives, and I know it's a very difficult time, especially if you live on your own. You will feel isolated. So hello, Susan. Hello. So some of the tips I want to give on here. I'm by no means an expert, but some of these tips, they've helped me, and I've also researched them. And good place to find information is to go onto the NHS website. So, and just follow the news. But I just have like 5 tips that we can use. Hello, TC, see you. Thank you for coming, Susan. So I just have like a few tips. I'm going to give roughly 5. I might give a few of my own. A few of them I've researched, a few of them you will find. And as I say, always visit the NHS to find out what's going on and what you need to do. Yes? So what are some of the things, if you can just drop a comment and just tell me some of the things you do to ensure that you don't feel too stressed about the whole pandemic situation. What are some of the things that you do? So put it in the comment section, put it in the chat so I can see what are some of the things you would do so that you are not, you don't feel too stressed. So I'm kind of waiting. So just think about some of the things that you can do to ensure that you're not overly stressed. So what are some of the things you do? So I'm going to start off with one of the main ones. And this one is very crucial because it affects your whole sleeping pattern. Oh, sanitize. Thank you, Susan. Susan says she sanitized and staying at home when I can. Yes. And that's one of the main things you need to do. If that helps you to feel less stressed, because I know some people, they get stressed if their houses are dirty, or if they have dirty stuff around them, or if they just don't feel that everything is clean. So that's one of the way you can, yes, that's one of the way you can feel less stress. So good point. Thank you. See you, HM. So one of my one is to ensure that you start your night right. Yeah. So starting your night right, meaning, for one, don't try to look at your mobile or your cell phones right before you go to bed, because in doing so, it will affect your sleep pattern, and it will be more difficult for you to fall asleep. So try not to look at a bright screen, the screen right up in your face first before you go to bed, and ensure that you go to bed at the correct time. Yes? So you want to ensure you get a good night's rest, especially if you have to get up early for school, or if you have to get up early for work. You need to ensure that you get a good night's rest. So you need to start your night off right. Yes. So that's one of the things. So just drop in the chat anything that you do, and we can discuss it and we can pick it up, or ask any question that you need to ask. Okay. One of the next one is to plan. You want to plan your day, or you're guilty. Stop being guilty of that. It affects your sleep. It also affects your health. Yes, if you don't get proper sleep, it affects your health. So you need to try to sleep as much. Well, get your 8 hours in. I try to get at least 6, because some of us, we're busy moms, we're busy, we're students, we're still studying. Some of us, we have to work when the kids are asleep if we work from home. So we're all guilty of that, but we need to just ensure that we keep on top of trying to get some rest, because if you don't get enough rest, you can start getting headaches, you can start gaining weight as well. So you, like, unnecessary weight if you don't want to gain weight. So so you just need to ensure you get a proper night's rest. Yeah. So planning, you need to plan your day ahead. That's very important. I'm always running on 5 hours. 5 hours? 5 hours is too little. Try to get at least 6 or 7. Try to get at least 6 or 7 hours, please, because it's difficult already. It's difficult, and the thing is, anxiety and stress. Sometimes you don't even know when it's happening or when it has occurred. Yes, I remember once. I didn't get enough sleep, and I was so stressed, and I in the morning I was trying to look after the kids to go to school, and I panicked, and I couldn't breathe, and I had to just start taking deep breaths, and I couldn't freak out, because I would scare the kids, because some of us, we do have kids, so you can't do too much. You can't do like things that will scare them, because that will cause another whole issue that you'll have to deal with. But 2 hours. Oh no, man. No, man. 2 hours is too little. Well, try and get more tonight. Try to do some work tonight. Get more rest done. You, the one that you lost tonight, try to get some rest tomorrow, because it affects you mentally. It does affect you. Lack of sleep does affect you. So as I said, if you were planning, then you wouldn't have work to catch up on. If you were following and if you were planning and you were following through on your plans, then you wouldn't have to catch up on work at all, because you would have been following through on your plans. So, for example, if you have, like, when I was at uni, I had full time. I had to work, plus I had uni, and I had to plan out what time I would get to do my assignments, what time I would go to work, and what time I would go to uni. So you need to plan out what and prioritize. So what is most important to do at the moment? If I have a coursework that is due in 2 weeks, then that will take second bench to something that I have to do that is due in maybe a week or so. Yeah, but not because it's due in 2 weeks it means I'm not gonna work on it. I will start work on it, like, little by little. I'll start jotting down points, start researching, because researching for your assignment is one of the biggest things. And then if you have work, you have to ensure that you know what you're wearing. You know what you're wearing to work. You know what handbags for us women, what handbags we're carrying. So let me just read some of the comments. So Nicola says, "Sis, I'm off to work." Sis, no, that's fine. Thank you so much for coming. That's fine. Thank you so much for coming. So you just ensure, if you have to go off to work, you have to ensure that you know what bag, what shoes, what clothes you're wearing. Like for me, I'll give you an example, because I work out in the mornings before I go to work. So I have to plan my day ahead. I have to plan what outfit I'm wearing for workout, what outfit I'm wearing for work. I have to plan out what routine I'll be working out, and I have to plan what I'll be taking to work to eat, because I don't eat just anything. So you need to plan out. So especially if you have like coursework due as well, you have to plan out, okay, let me do a research. If it's due in 2 weeks, so you do some research the first week. You do research like 2, 3 days. You ensure that you know what you're doing. You put everything, you plan everything out, and then you start working on it the first week. Yeah. And then the final week, you don't have too much to do more than to just touch it up. So you just have to plan ahead, plan what you're eating, plan where you're going. And especially during this pandemic, you have to know where you're going. You have to ensure that you have your mask and your sanitizers as well. You need to ensure, and the new rule is that you can't go on the bus without any mask, without wearing a mask, unless you're exempt. You can't go to college, you can't go to work without a mask unless you're exempt. So that's the new rule. And there are sanitizers everywhere. If you do forget your sanitizers, just look out for where they've placed them. If they're at work, if they're at college, just look out for where they've placed them. What you mean you're not going to class? Okay, so we'll discuss that on the next session, okay? On the next Zoom session, we'll discuss that, okay? Um, yes, so those are some of the things you need to plan for. The other most important thing, and I consider this point to be very important, it is to ensure that you set aside time to talk to friends, talk to friends and family members. You need to set aside time to talk to friends and family members. Only because when you feel isolated, it is very important that you can connect with someone. If you can't if you cannot connect with them on a physical basis, you can connect with them online. You can connect with them. Yes, online is, yeah, that's where it's gonna be now, to be fair. So you have your Zoom chats that you can connect. You can also have game. You know that I did a game on here, a Kahoot game, which can be for family members and friends. So you have a number of ways that you can actually just still interact with family members, even though they might not be a part of your bubble, meaning that you shouldn't be in their houses because um, you, if they have something, you're going to take it from their bubble to your bubble, and then that's going to be two households that's going to be infected. So just ensure that you've set aside time to talk to friends and family. And I don't mean just messaging. I know sometimes messaging, text messages or WhatsApp messages is how we get by because everything is so hectic. But that's one thing we can thank COVID for. It has helped a lot of us to slow down a bit. So in us slowing down, then we are gonna need to find things to replace those things that we were so busy doing. Yeah. So you need to now. So in filling that gap, what you could possibly do is to talk to family members and friends more often, because sometimes you might be going through things and you don't have anybody. You might think that you're the only one that is going through that particular issue, but most of the times we all feel this way. Most of the times we all feel this way, and not because you're studying, not because you're working there, it does not mean that you're going to be less stressed or more stressed than the person who's working or the person who's studying. Yeah, so it just means that you need to ensure that you are mentally and physically able to cope with what's going on. I know I get a bit of anxiety because I love traveling, and now I just think that I can't travel, I can't go anywhere. But because most of the places that I want to go, they're locked down, the borders have closed. So these are some of the issues that will probably stress a lot of us, especially if you love traveling. Another thing is that some people they'll do, and I do understand where you love to you find it you love to visit family, friends and members. You just love to go interact physically with other members of your family, and which is good. But for now, to ensure that everyone is safe, to ensure that everyone is safe, yes, and that these cases can go down, because you know the cases, especially in London, the cases are going up so much every day. So you need to just ensure that you are able to cope, yes, and you are staying safe by you're staying safe by following the rules and the guidelines. Yes, the rules and the guidelines that are set out by the government. So you just need to ensure that. And I know, like, even this week, there are so many cases that I had to deal with. So many people feeling anxious about they feel anxious that they might have the virus. They feel anxious that they need to go test. They feel anxious that they're they feel anxious that, oh, I'm gonna miss out on this and I'm gonna miss out on that. I'm gonna miss out on college and I'm gonna miss out on work because I'm ill. But at present, if you're ill, you're ill. Yes. So you just need to ensure that you are isolating as necessary. If you feel ill, you know the symptoms, a persistent cough. If you have a persistent cough, if you have a fever, yes, you need to ensure that you self isolate, because you don't want to give it to anyone. And if you're at college or if you're at work, if you're in an office setting, that means if you go into work, you risk giving everyone at work you risk giving everyone at work the virus, and that's the whole office. And if you're at college or school, you risk giving everyone in that classroom the virus. So you just need to ensure that you self isolate. Thank you for coming, Amara. You just need to ensure that you self isolate while, especially if you don't feel well. So you just need to ensure that you do so, not only to protect yourself, but to protect others. So you just need to be aware of it. You need to be conscious of it. And sometimes people are like, oh, the virus isn't real. It might not be real for you if you're young and if you're healthy, because that means the virus will affect. Thank you, darling. Thank you. That means the virus will affect you in a different manner to how it would actually affect someone who has an underlying issue. So if say this person does have like a heart problem or a kidney problem, or they've just had surgery, they have diabetes, anything like that, they are affected in in a worse off way than it would affect a healthy person. So you need to be mindful, not because you're young, not because you're healthy, not because you're at a certain age. It does not mean that, oh, it might not, especially if you have asthma. Thank you very much, Official Gaming. If you have asthma as well, it will affect you in a different way, in a more severe manner than how it would actually affect someone who's healthy. And you might not be affected severely, but you will take it and you will bring it to your parents, or you will bring it to your or you bring it to your grandparents who are ill or who have some sort of illness, and they are most likely to die or most likely to be more severely affected than you. So you need to know the symptoms. You need to be aware of the symptoms. You need to be aware of how you can protect yourself and your loved one. Isolation at the moment is one of the best ways you can actually protect your loved ones. If you're not feeling well, isolate. And because we're in the lockdown now, it means that you're gonna be interacting physically less with your peers. You're gonna be interacting physically less with your family members. So this is the reason why you must stay in contact. You must talk to someone. If you're not feeling mentally well, talk to someone. If you're not feeling physically well, talk to someone. in talking to that person, you never know, they might be able to help you. Yes, they might, and they might be feeling the same way. And when you talk about something, it actually releases stress while you talk to when you talk to someone. This is why we go to maybe a therapist. Yes, or you talk to your doctors, because when you feel worried about something, it does play on your mental health. And when it plays on your mental health, you need to ensure that you find ways and means to overcome. Because when you're isolated, you feel alone. You feel alone. I remember during the first lockdown, I felt so claustrophobic. I felt like I couldn't breathe, because even though I'm not someone who goes out often because I enjoy being at home, I felt like I did not have the option of actually leaving my house. And I was afraid because of all the news media. Everyone was just talking about, and the thing is, sometimes you have fake news out there, and you need to ensure that you can sift through all the fake news. Yeah. So my next point is, you need to watch less news on the issue if you feel stressed or if you feel anxiety about the pandemic. Not meaning that you should not keep abreast of it. It just means that you're not going to be stressed watching every minute, every minute of every day. Some people are consistently like watching the news, to find out what's going on, just persistent on and on about it. And they don't know that it's actually affecting them mentally. So watch less news. And in watching less news, you need to also ensure that the news that you watch is coming from a reliable source. Yes? Meaning that if it's not coming from the NHS, if it's not coming straight from the government, hearsay does not work. Hearsay. You can't just say a friend told you that this is happening. It does not mean that it's correct or it's actually happening. You need to fact check. And in fact checking, you check on the reliable sources that are giving you the news that you need to have. Yes? So that's my next point. Ensure, if you feel too stressed about it, watch less news. I remember I literally had to come off social media during the first lockdown. I had to come off social media because everything was about COVID-19 or Corona. Literally, every joke was about Corona. Every intense news, anything about people dying, like it was just on the news, and it got to me in a way where wherein I'm like, every time I looked at my phone, there was some sort of news about it, and it was just so overwhelming, and I did not want to. I just like, okay, let me just disconnect for a while. And that did help me mentally. When I disconnected for a while, it did help me mentally. So um less news and watch more reliable sources. Yes? Always research. Do your research. You know you need to do your research. Okay? So that was one of my points. And my final point is for here. My final point is to ensure that you do some sort of physical exercises. It does not have to be some intense weightlifting or whatever. Just do some sort of exercise. You're able to walk, go take a walk to the park if you can. You can even walk on the spot at home if you can. You can follow a YouTube workout. There's so many people on there now working out. It's just like Yeah, I know it's a lot. I'm one of them as well. So yeah, so workout. I have a lot of videos if you want, even a chair one if you're not into intense workout. So just do some sort of physical activity because that does help your mental health as well. So physical activity is very important. It helps you also to be a more rounded person. Yeah. So you wanna ensure that you start your night right. You want to get ensure that you are planning, you're doing your planning your day ahead. You're going to ensure that you set time aside to talk to family friends, family friends, to talk to family and friends. You also want to ensure that you watch less news if you're mentally and physically affected by what's going on. And one of the other things that wasn't on my list, and you want to ensure that you do some physical activities. One of the things that I wanted to suggest as well is breathing, box breathing. So do a little research on box breathing. It does help. Yes. So taking deep breaths and letting it out slowly, that does help as well. So it helps in a lot of ways. If you practice it, it does help. Research it if you're not sure about it. But in doing so, just ensure that you are doing what you should do to feel less stressed. Yes, and to not be so anxious about what's going on at present. Yeah, so I'm gonna end it there. If you have anything that you wanted to say, what are some of the things that you do? I only have one person. You sanitizers. One person that says they sanitize um and clean. Susan says she sanitize and stay at home. So staying at home and sanitizing. So drop a message as to what you do to keep to be more healthier or to be less stressed about the situation, the current situation. What are some of the things that you do? Hello, sweet gold. How are you, darling? Hello. We're discussing stress and anxiety. Oh, hello, darling. We're discussing stress and anxiety and caused by the pandemic, by COVID-19. And we are just going through, we're just wrapping up. Better late than never. Please like up the stream for me, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you can, share me out if you can. So some of the things we were saying is that we need to ensure we get a good night's rest. Yes, so we need to start our night right. We need to do plan our day ahead. We also need to set time aside to talk to friends and family. Those are some of the things we discussed. We also need to watch less news on the topic. Thank you so much, darling. You also need to watch less news on the topic if you're feeling stressed, and also listen to more reliable source. And if you hear something and you're not sure about it, always fact check it. So go to a more reliable source. So some of the places that you can actually get your information, you can get it on BBC News. They have a site. You can get it on the NHS news. These are for London. If you're overseas, your current news provider should be able to help you with um, the news of what's currently going on with the pandemic. But yes, and we talk about actually practicing box breathing and physical exercises. So breathing and physical exercises. Even during my workout, like when you're working out, you need to practice your breathing exercises because that helps you as well to not, thank you so much, that helps you to not run like be out of breath and panting like so you wanna take breathe in and then breathe out slowly. If you practice that, that is so good. It gives you such a good feeling. You take one big breath in and then breathe out slowly. If you practice that, especially if you're feeling anxious, trust, it does help. You wanna try that. It does help. If you're practicing, it does help. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming. I am gonna end this here. I didn't want the video to go on too long. I wanted it to be an hour, but it's fine. 35 minutes is fine. Thank you guys for sharing me out. Thank you for coming. Guys that are on here, I'm gonna do a Zoom now so that you guys can pop on. You can have a little break before I go to the Zoom session, okay? So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being here. Um, leave a message in the comment if you find this helpful, or if you have any tips, just leave it in the message section, because with the chat, you don't really see it so much after the live has ended. So leave a little message for me, what you do to ensure that you're not so stressed about the current pandemic situation, or tell me, what do you do? Do you work out? Do you eat well? Do you ensure that you get enough rest? Do you read? For some people, just simply reading a book helps them mentally. So what are some of the things that you do? Yes, so you want to just drop it in the comment for me. I am gonna end it now, and I'm gonna pop on Zoom for those of you who are waiting on me for the next class. You can have a break, and I will send out the Zoom link in a bit. Like the stream. Like if you like what you hear. So like and subscribe if you're new here. Like and subscribe if you're new here. Okay. Thank you. I see you, Bagwell. Okay. So I am gonna pop off here, and ta-ta for now, and remember, stay safe.